Welcome to day 7, the last day of the challenge, but most certainly not the last day of your self-care. Before we deep dive into day 7's treat yourself, I want to make sure that we get a little review in of the whole challenge. So let's first look at what is self-care. Remember that self-care is the practices that help you take care of your physical, emotional health, your well-being, helps you to fill your cup so you can keep pouring from it. Self-care is important because it will help you live a happy, healthier lifestyle overall. And the more you engage in self-care, the more you will see the benefits of your practices. So let's also look at how it can improve your overall health. When you get into really good self-care practices, you can see that it can reduce your stress level, your anxiety. It helps you to stay calm and in a relaxed state. And when we're in a relaxed, calm state, we are able to set better boundaries. We're able to communicate more effectively. We can calm our brain and our nervous system so that we can think clearly and make better choices. So let's debunk some of those self-care myths that I know are out there and that you may have heard of at one point or another. First of all, self-care is not selfish. They're very different things. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of talking about what is selfish, but let's talk about the fact that self-care and pampering yourself and making sure that you feel whole and that you feel taken care of and rested is not selfish. You can still give. And I know you guys have heard me say this so many times throughout this challenge, and I'm going to keep saying it. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Your cup of giving is empty. You don't have anything to give out of it. Nothing comes out of an empty cup. You need to refill it, and that is what self-care does. It refills that cup so that you can give of yourself to others around you. Another common myth about self-care is that it is only for people who have poor mental health. That is absolutely not true. You need self-care just as much as the person next to you needs self-care. It doesn't matter what state you are in. Everybody needs to take care of their well-being and continuously. You can't just try it out, feel good for a week and stop. That's why I keep telling you it's self-care practices. Practices being that they are incorporated into your daily living. Taking time for you to step away from the family, from the spouse, the partner, the work, the friends, whatever it is that you are engaged in on a regular basis. Taking time away from them to feel fulfilled is not indulgent. It is not selfish. Selfishness and indulgence are when you engage in something and you put your need above someone else's need and it's harmful to someone else. Then that's a problem. I'm not asking for you to do that. I'm asking for you to take time to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. The last myth is absolutely my favorite. It is thinking that self-care is only for women. Hopefully some of you guys are here watching this too. And I just want to make sure that everyone is clear that self-care doesn't know genders. It just knows you are a human body with human needs, and that is it. So it doesn't matter what gender you are identifying as, what gender you were born as, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you are taking care of yourself and you're engaging in really healthy self-care practices. And I'm going to remind you exactly what those 4 practices, those 4 elements need to be. Remember on day 1, we had talked about these, but I want to remind you that these are extremely important. It's the types of self-care: physical self-care, your mental self-care or your psychological self-care, your spiritual self-care, and your emotional self-care. These 4 are how you will find balance in your self-care practices. So be careful that you're not tipping your balance a bit towards one or the other too much, and that it is feeling very well-rounded. I'll give you an example. Physical self-care sometimes could also be someone's spiritual practice. Myself, I like to go running, and for me, I like to do it alone because that is my time to have self-reflection and even a little bit of meditation. So that is how I feel like I get back to nature, because I like to do this outside, and I live somewhere where I can run outside year round. So I'm getting my physical, I'm getting my mental, I'm getting my spiritual, so I'm getting a lot of self-care practices in one activity. So think of that as well when you are finding activities to engage in. And here are some tips of some free ideas that you can engage in for your self-care. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive. You don't need to go have a spa day. You can do these things at home for yourself. So I just want to make sure that you are really feeling supported and ready to take on your own self-care challenge of continuing this after you are done with the 7 days. Before I scare you with my mud mask on, I decided to share with you how I am going to treat myself today. So I am going to enjoy a nice mask, a stress releasing mask. I did my nails, I got my wine. I'm going to make myself a little popcorn and maybe curl up with a good film or a funny series to watch. So share with us how you're going to treat yourself today. But remember, ultimately, the idea of this challenge is to start incorporating these practices on a regular basis. If you can, try to remember to do at least one self-care practice per day. And while it may not feel like self-care in the moment, it takes a lot of effort for me to put on this mask, to do my nails. I'm gonna go do a lip mask in a minute when I'm done. Never done one before, should be interesting. But when all is said and done, it feeds the soul, right? It'll make me feel better in the long run. So thank you so much for joining me in this challenge.